Wow. Welcome, everybody, and congratulations. You are part of the very first EV Summit in the United States. Let's go. Let's go. My name is Bobby Godsey, and I work at Austin Energy in the Electric Vehicle and Emerging Technologies program. I've been on that team for 10 years, and I welcome y'all today to Austin, Texas. Some of you that aren't from Austin or aren't from Texas think about our cowboy boots and our cowboy hats and how I think we ride our horses everywhere, but there's much more to us than that. Did you know that Austin Energy is responsible for over 1,600 charging points right here in Austin, but they're all powered by renewable energy 24 hours a day. So you get West Texas wind powering those charging stations every day of the week. So we're proud of that. And the city of Austin is the number 3 city in the United States for EV ownership. And we have a place called Electric Drive right here in Austin. Has anybody been to Electric Drive? Yeah. So that was a street we created a few years ago to showcase sustainable mobility. So if you haven't been down there, go check it out. 8 fast chargers, electric bike share program, the solar kiosk, battery storage, it's got everything. So I think you guys have come to the right place, Austin, Texas, to get inspired about e-mobility, and that's why we're here today. There's a lot of great people in the room. I've already seen some friends, some faces. Carl Popham's here. Woo! Britta Gross I saw this morning. Drew Johnston right here. So a lot of friends are here. Make sure you meet everybody, connect, share ideas, and stay connected when you leave here today, okay? That's a promise, right? All right. All right, so also I have this great cool hat, Electric's Greater Than Gas. I have a few extra of these, and I'm gonna be at Amy Apsley's panel today at 11:40 a.m., and she's on the Austin Energy team. She rocks. I'll have a few extra of these hats, so if you come to that session, hopefully you get one of these. I'm on stage today to welcome the very first speaker of the EV Summit in North America, and he happens to be my boss. He's the manager of the Electric Vehicle and Emerging Technologies program. He's been on the team for over 13 years. Think about that for a second. The city of Austin has had an electric vehicle program for over 13 years. We've won over 16 awards for our innovative programs throughout the last several years, and Cameron Freberg is leading that. Welcome, Cameron Freberg.
Thank you, Bobby, and thank you, Bobby, for mentioning the stereotype of us all wearing boots, and I wore boots. So. As Bobby mentioned, my name is Cameron Freberg. I'm with Austin Energy, which is the municipally owned utility in Austin, Texas. So first thing I always like to see when events come here, how many of you are local to Austin? I know there's some. Okay, a fair amount. And how many of you paired your trip to Austin? There was a lesser known event this week as well called Austin City Limits. It wasn't quite as publicized as this one, but I want to see if anyone kind of paired this event with that one. Absolutely not. I'm very excited to be here today. I love these kind of collaborations, and being in this industry for 12, 13 years isn't really a long time, but in this industry it is. And so when I rewind back 5, 10 years ago to any kind of, let's say, conference or summit, and mostly utility related because that's what I do, there would be possibly like one EV session, and they just kind of compiled everything into one 30-minute thing around EVs. Or you go to an EV event, and it was most likely half a dozen people that just bought a Nissan Leaf or a Chevy Volt talking about it. So it's evolved from just those small, kind of very grassroots efforts to, huge events and huge collaborations. And over the last 10 years, we've gone, or 13 years, we've gone from basically just trying to grow this industry. So, preaching the benefits, talking about the shift to electrification, getting people to adopt. And we're still doing that. That's still happening. But now, on top of that, we're also trying to keep up with it because adoption's happening at a wild rate. We're seeing medium and heavy-duty electrification. And we're seeing industries that have historically not worked together before. I mean, entire industries like the energy sector, the transportation sector, academia, all these come together for this, to encourage and allow for this shift to electrification. And we've done quite a bit here in Austin, Texas. Bobby mentioned electric drive. Bobby mentioned some of the other stuff we're doing. But we have a lot of goals in terms of like policy that we're aiming towards as well. One of our local goals here is to get to 40% of vehicle miles traveled to be electric by 2030. That is a huge shift. And that's not just people buying cars. That's everything from shifting our mass transit sector, which includes buses and rail, which if you've been in Austin long enough, our mass transit sector is in progress of an update. Everything from that to personal vehicle ownership, all the way down, to like the e-bike. So we're looking at all those kind of mode shifts of transportation. And one of the other things that we're trying to do is, as a utility, figure out, okay, what does this mean for us? So I know there's a lot of great speakers here. Bobby also mentioned Britta, so we're going to hear from her in the EVs to Scale project later. That's something that we and a lot of people in this room are probably involved in or interested in, is seeing not just how we grow this industry, but how we continue to adapt to this industry, how we facilitate future electrification growth, and basically how we make this all successful for us. So I won't harp too much on some of the growing pains that we've had for it, but I'd like to introduce the founder of the EV Summit. Especially thank you for bringing it here to Austin, Texas for the first one in America. Sorry, I can't talk and swallow at the same time. So I'd like to introduce Ade Thomas, if he is here in the room with us as well. And thank you all. Welcome to Austin, and enjoy the day.
Very many thanks, Cameron, and many thanks to Austin Energy, and of course a huge thank you to you, more generally, the great people of Austin, for your incredible warmth and hospitality. The Brits from the EV Summit team have felt super welcome here, as have I. We've been in Austin for a couple of days, and it's just been a great experience. And of course, thank you to everyone in this room for taking the time out to be here at the inaugural US EV Summit. It's a proud day for me, and it's a proud day for our joint UK and US team. My name is Ade Thomas. I head up GreenTV Media, the business behind the EV Summit, and also the business that created World EV Day, and which publishes the super fast growing news and e-mobility features channel, Electric Drives. I'm a keen student of history, and in modern history, to my mind, there's no history more profound than that of the United States. In the 1930s, two historical narratives played out that helped to make the America of today: investment in electrification of energy and the advent of the use of the automobile. These helped break down regionalism in the US and created the United States as a people who took to their cars to find work, new lives opening up America. Now, the US is on the cusp of another profound historic transition, the transition to electrification, not in energy, as we accelerate towards e-mobility. And we're proud in the joint UK-US EV Summit team to be here in your great country to play our small part in this momentous journey. Let me continue that historic theme and take a moment to tell you about the 8-year history of the EV Summit and our small role in propelling e-mobility in the UK. In Oxford in the UK, in the very first year of the EV Summit, the people and the process of the summit led to a super significant infrastructure outcome. The biggest charge point operator in Europe, a £41 million collaboration, and Europe's most powerful charging EV hub. So we're super hopeful that the people, the platform, the process in this room, which we see very clearly mirroring the first year of the UK Summit, that similar infrastructure and collaborative outcomes will flow. So hold that thought. Our aim is to inject positivity and outcomes into the EV landscape here in the US. But how do we do that? How do we deliver in such a profound way for our partners and for our delegates? Well, it's all about you. the significant EV leaders that we convene across government, business, and industry bodies. And I am super excited that those catalyst organizations are all present here in this room, as has been mentioned by Cameron. And the success of the summit is all about our partnership process, managed intros. The design of the summit aims to deliver actionable outcomes, and our pre-arranged meetings process powers those partnerships. So for our partners, Managed Intros is enabled by our team of account managers and the design of the summit and the time that we make available throughout the course of the day for those structured meetings. Over half the time of the summit here today will be available for meetings. And for delegates, we place a lot of emphasis on the delegate support side. We built our own proprietary software tool, the EV Summit app. If you haven't already downloaded the EV Summit app, it's your partnership best friend. It gives you a great visibility and access to all the other delegates here in this room, so you should really jump on that app and get involved in that. Today, here in this room, I'm sure you will forge similarly commercially profound outcomes to the ones we've witnessed across the Atlantic here in the UK. And I'm sure you'll deliver those outcomes both here in Austin and right across the great country of the United States. Across today's EV Summit, we have panels sponsored by some of the leading EV businesses in the sector: EY, our headline partner, Connect, BCLP, EVA Global, and Codably. The summit is defined and made by our sponsors, and we're super, super thankful to them for their support. But let me take a moment to personally thank not just sponsors, but friends. Those sponsors are people that I've worked with closely over many years. So just to name those people for a second: Neil Emmett and Om Shankar of Connect, who are Gilbarco Veeder-Root's EV enabler entity. Jane Hoffer of EVA Global, who sadly couldn't make it here today, the CPO software firm. Mark Richards and Erin Books of BCLP, the global law firm, and Lukasz, who's got an impossible Polish-sounding surname, Kulczynski of Codably, the leading software support business in the sector. These people have, over the years, become personal friends to me, and I can't thank them enough. And on great personal friends, I will shortly hand over to Mark Coltelli. As the head of EY's North American practice, and as our headline sponsor for the US EV Summit, Mark is really the crucial vector for bringing the powerful platform of EV engagement to the United States that is the EV Summit. Mark, I don't thank you as a sponsor. I thank you as a great friend and a man who will be remembered as a true champion of the transition to sustainable mobility. Mark is our opening keynote speaker, and I'd like to take a minute to thank all of our keynote speakers and institutional partners. We have an awesome lineup of speakers and keynote speakers today, which includes Senator Chris Lee, who joins us from Hawaii. Senator Lee will discuss bridging the political divide, a bipartisan vision for clean energy and electric transportation. And we welcome Shweta Shah of Geotab. Shweta will discuss how telematics for fleet electrification and smart infrastructure planning is powering the EV transition. After lunch, we're joined by Rob Smedley, CEO and founder of the Smedley Group and former Formula One engineer. Rob will be chatting to EY's Sarah Ganowski. They'll be talking about motorsport as a significant platform for diversity. Later, we'll be joined by Sarah Hipple, Chief Technology Officer of the Joint Energy and Office of Transportation, who will uncover how EV technology is driving government policy forwards. And Sarah, many congratulations on your new role as CTO. And as you've heard, we also welcome Britta Gross, Director of Transportation at EPRI, who will take the stage to uncover how EPRI's EV Scale 2030 is breaking down industry barriers and accelerating transport electrification. Lastly, Lisa Clements-Stott, E-Mobility and Innovation Director at the State of Illinois, will bring us a keynote on how Midwestern states are shaping the future of EVs. Lisa will be making an exciting announcement about next year's US EV Summit, which I'll leave to Lisa. Also, during the break, the Environmental Defense Fund will be leading on a side event in this room around state policy and zero emissions trucks, a big and important new sector. So now, just to finish, I would like to hand the stage to Mark Coltelli. Mark, you began the US EV Summit project. Please propel us into the panel discussion and your opening keynote. Thank you very much indeed.